A song from Burgundy lives. It resonates with my brain. I can't help but to seek for the exit. I hope it isn't too late to escape. My steps are lost in mystic labyrinth. But what if I don't want to run away? What if I'm from my subtle fragrances? The blooming flower is about to hypnotize me. I have completely lost. A song from Burgundy lives. It resonates with my brain. Finally, I have wakened you from sleep. Never knew that the time can flow this slow. Your smile was the brightest in the world. My soul became transparent to your glance. I don't know why I could be so candid. I don't mind even if your thirst hurt me somehow, as long as we're together. Don't you ever regret the sacred promises. We're going to meet again. We're going to hold the hands. It is fine that you don't remember my name, because no matter what, I will always be under your spell. A song from Burgundy lives. It resonates with my brain. A song from Burgundy lives. It resonates with my brain. I can't help but to seek for the exit. I hope it isn't too late to escape. My steps are lost in mystic labyrinth. But what if I don't want to run away? What if I'm from my subtle fragrances? The blooming flower is about to hypnotize me. I have completely lost. A song from Burgundy lives. It resonates with my brain. Finally, I have wakened you from sleep. Never knew that the time can flow this slow. Your smile was the brightest in the world. My soul became transparent to your glance. I don't know why I could be so candid. I don't mind even if your thirst hurt me somehow, as long as we're together. Don't you ever regret the sacred promises. We're going to meet again. We're going to hold the hands. It is fine that you don't remember my name, because no matter what, I will always be under your spell. A song from Burgundy lives. It resonates with my brain. A song from Burgundy lives. It resonates with my brain. I can't help but to seek for the exit. I hope it isn't too late to escape. My steps are lost in mystic labyrinth. But what if I don't want to run away? What if I'm drawn by subtle fragrances? The blooming flower is about to hypnotize me. I have completely lost. A song from Burgundy lives. It resonates with my brain. Finally, I have wakened you from sleep. Never knew that the time can flow this slow. Your smile was the brightest in the world. If your thirst hurt me somehow, as long as we're together. Don't you ever regret the sacred promises. We're going to meet again. We're going to hold the hands. It is fine that you don't remember my name, because no matter what, I will always be under your spell. A song from Burgundy lives. It resonates with my brain. A song from Burgundy lives. It resonates with my brain. I can't help but to seek for the exit. I hope it isn't too late to escape. My steps are lost in mystic labyrinth. But what if I don't want to run away? What if I'm drawn by subtle fragrances? The blooming flower is about to hypnotize me. I have completely lost. A song from Burgundy lives. It resonates with my brain. Finally, I have wakened you from sleep. Never knew that the time can flow this slow. Your smile was the brightest in the world. My soul became transparent to your glance. I don't know why I could be so candid. I don't mind even if your thirst hurt me somehow, as long as we're together. Don't you ever regret the sacred promises. We're going to meet again. We're going to hold the hands. It is fine that you don't remember my name, because no matter what, I will always be under your spell. A song from Burgundy lives. It resonates with my brain. A song from Burgundy lives. It resonates with my brain. I can't help but to seek for the exit. I hope it isn't too late to escape. My steps are lost in maze like labyrinth. But what if I don't want to run away? What if I'm drawn by subtle fragrances? The blooming flower is about to hypnotize me. I have completely lost. A song from Burgundy lips. It resonates with my brain. Finally, I have wakened you from sleep. Never knew that the time can flow this slow. Your smile was the brightest in the world. My soul became transparent to your glance. I don't know why I could be so candid. I don't mind even if your thorns hurt me somehow, as long as we're together. Don't you ever regret the sacred promises. We're going to meet again. We're going to hold the hands. It is fine that you don't remember my name, because no matter what, I will always be under your spell. A song from Burgundy lips. It resonates with my brain. A song from Burgundy lips. It resonates with my brain.
Hello, hello. Welcome back. Today we got some Kingdom Come Deliverance. Gonna wrap up Woman's Lot DLC, Yohanka side story. Great start. Fuck's sake.
Yeah. 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 There's nothing to see here.
Nothing to see here.
Where's Yohanka?
She's locked up at the rat house. Orders of the bishop.
Locked up? For what?
For heretical speeches. Run along now. If you want to chat about it, go and talk to that. May the Lord watch over you.
He should be up here. Actually, I want to see Nicodemus first. Let's get some background going.
What happened to Yohanka?
Nothing good, I'm sorry to say. She was locked up by the Papal Inquisitor Bishop Yaroslav of Benishov. It seems he somehow caught wind of this preaching of hers. He's accused her of spreading heresy and had her placed under arrest.
What will happen next?
Jesus Christ. What's going to happen to her?
I don't know, Henry. It all depends on the Inquisitor and how he decides. The accusations brought against Yohanka are very serious.
Well, we must do something.
Well, you can try talking to Bishop Yaroslav. He can tell you more. As a servant of the royal hetman, your name ought to carry some weight with him. But watch your step. This matter is entirely in the hands of church law, so you mustn't overestimate your lay authority here.
Right.
You got it, bud.
I'll go and see this Bishop Yaroslav of Benishov.
May God go with you. And thank you, Henry. I'm glad you're standing up for your hanker. If you need anything, do come and see me.
I won't get any sleep. I just won't get any
Where can I
sleep.
find this Inquisitor?
He's staying here in the monastery grounds. His quarters are on the upper floor.
What actually happened here?
Your hanker told me you went to Auschwitz.
Yeah? What's that got to do with anything?
The Inquisitor showed up here not long after you left. Apparently he heard about Johanka's preaching somehow. He even observed one of her sermons outside the town in disguise. He had her brought to him and spent a long time trying to discourage her from what she was doing. But then she went out again to preach about her visions outside of town. But before she even started, the Inquisitor turned up with Fabian and the guards. He said
Who is
Johanka
Fabian?
had ignored his outright ban, and he had her taken away. Then he warned the people there that Johanka was spreading heresy and undermining the church's authority, and forbade them to listen to her.
That's all? Didn't you speak to the Inquisitor?
No, actually I didn't. He saw me there listening to her preaching, and I was afraid to come forward and talk to him.
Aha. Well, that's understandable.
Thanks.
For sure. He could be burned.
Sounds pretty serious.
It is. I'm afraid it could be very serious indeed.
What?
Yeah. He had, but
It sounds...
it.
What exactly does an Inquisitor do?
The Inquisition is a papal institution that deals with heresy, so people don't succumb to charlatans, false prophets and deceptions, and put their faith and their immortal souls in jeopardy. The Inquisitors have all sorts of powers, the kind we here can do very little to stand up to.
And what can he do to Johanka?
Quiet!
I'm not entirely sure. These legal issues are very complicated, but he could certainly excommunicate her, and maybe even sentence her to death.
What exactly does an Inquisitor do?
The Inquisition is a papal institution that deals with heresy. So,
And what can he...
I'm not into... He could certainly excommunicate her, and maybe even sentence her to death.
Who is this Bishop Yaroslav?
I've never heard of him before, but the prior has. He said he's very well learned and the Bishop of Sarepta.
Sarepta? Where's that? Moravia?
No, it's far, far away, near the Holy Land. He got the title from the Holy Father himself.
And this bishop came all the way here from whatever.
Sarepta, but I doubt he's ever been there. It used to be a bishopric in the days of the Apostolic Fathers in Phoenicia, near Israel, but it was ransacked by the Muslims. Now it's just a titular bishopric. And Yaroslav is the titular bishop.
Titular bishop? Like he's not a real one?
It's, let's say, an honorary title. It refers to a diocese that no longer exists. And since a titular bishop has no diocese to oversee, he can devote himself to handling other very important church affairs, like ordaining other prelates, for example, to maintain succession through the centuries down from the time of Christ and his apostles.
We're getting deep into some Catholic organizational structure.
Do you believe Johanka is really being visited by the Virgin Mary?
Well, yes, Henry, I do. The things she says and the way she speaks. She doesn't sound like herself at all. I know she can't read, so where else could she have got it? Frankly, I can't think of any other explanation, within the bounds of this world.
I can't sleep again.
God be with you.
Sir, I am...
Henry of Scarlet, from the garrison of the Royal Hetman, Sir Radzig Kobyla. I've heard a lot about you, my son. I'm pleased to meet you.
Bishop Yaroslav? Sir? My lord, to what do I owe your interest in my humble self?
I was told you survived the massacre in Skalitz and warned the Talmberg garrison. You tracked down the raiders of a stud farm in Neuhof, wasn't it? To their hideout in the woods. And then you led Sir Radzig and his armed company there and joined bravely in the skirmish, and even killed their notorious leader by your own hand. And I believe you have many other deeds to your name. That's quite remarkable, considering your age, is it not?
Well, you're too kind, Monsignor. I'm just trying to do what's right, and what's needed.
Quite rightly, too, my son. I expect we'll be hearing more about
Yo, Panther,
But
welcome.
I assume you didn't come here to exchange pleasantries. Or am I mistaken?
No, Monsignor, you're quite right. I'm here about Johanka.
Naturally. I'd be quite surprised if it were otherwise. So, tell me what's on your mind.
How did you find out about Johanka?
Word came to me of what was happening here. That some young girl was claiming to speak for the Blessed Virgin. I traveled here immediately, as my duty demanded, and observed events in Sasau incognito, in order to examine the matter at first hand.
I see. Why did you have her imprisoned?
Because she broke the promise she made to me, and persisted in actions that bear the signs of heresy.
And what will happen to Johanka now?
I must weigh the gravity of
How's
her
your night going?
transgressions and investigate these alleged visions of hers. I consider it very improbable that she is indeed being visited by the Blessed Virgin. Nevertheless, I cannot at this time rule it out entirely.
When will you decide, Monsignor?
As soon as I am fully informed of the facts, although it seems the matter is a little more complicated than I first thought. I will call Johanka and the witnesses, question them, and
Sounds
then
complicated.
pronounce a verdict.
And will there be anyone there to defend Johanka?
Do you doubt my
Is that what you intend to
judgment?
study in college?
Never be
Programming?
so bold, sir. But surely it would be only just that someone should speak for Johanka about all her good deeds and so forth.
Naturally, I will also question those who would speak in her defense. Since you are interceding, I expect you have someone in mind?
Yes,
This guy.
actually, me.
As I surmised. But this matter
Sounds so
does not
disappointed.
directly concern you. Why should I allow you to appear before the court?
It's my
Johanka is
Christian
neighbor,
duty.
and I have a Christian duty to come to her aid. I can't just stand by and do nothing.
I have to concur with you on that. Your concern seems sincere, so I will grant your request. Very well. You will defend Johanka. You may speak in her defense if you so wish, and you may also bring witnesses. I will question any such witnesses, and naturally I shall
Oof.
question Johanka too.
Thank you, Monsignor. In that case, I'll need to speak to Johanka first.
That won't be possible. It's forbidden by the Inquisition procedure.
You got
Until
this or
the
no?
entire matter is resolved, Johanka can speak only to me and no one else. I would like to expedite the matter. The trial will take place in Sasau Church in 3 days' time at the latest. Come and let me know when you're ready to proceed. In the meantime, I will continue my investigation.
Very well, Monsignor. I had better get on with it then, sir. Farewell.
Before you go, you know Johanka longer than anyone else. You spent a lot of time with her, as I've discovered. Tell me, my son, truthfully, what do you think of this whole affair?
She's legit. Too legit to quit.
About the Virgin Mary? I believe the Virgin does visit her. Johanka is honest. She wouldn't lie about such a thing. And the things she says sound truthful and compelling.
Nice.
It really does seem like a heavenly revelation.
Why are you retaking
Who else
it?
could
Do you need a
be from?
perfect score or something?
But the Virgin Mary.
The origin of these so-called visions of hers must be investigated. But thank you for your candor. Is there anything else you can tell me?
Let me just pour my coffee. Oopa. She's honest.
Johanka is an honest girl and virtuous. She's a good Christian who attends church and thinks of others.
Good. Please continue.
I think we avoid that one.
She's worried about Matthias. He's from Skalitz too, and she's very fond of him. But he was wounded in a raid on Merhojed recently, and since then he's been lying in a fever. Johanka believes that if she does what the Blessed Virgin wants of her, Matthias might be healed.
Interesting. Anything else?
Well, before, in Skalitz, Johanka was sort of, well, just a simple village girl. I never imagined I'd hear her talk in the way she does now. She's completely transformed.
A simple village girl. I see. Do continue.
Johanka helped a lot of people. She worked her fingers to the bone helping Brother Nicodemus with the sick and injured.
That is certainly commendable. What else can you tell me about her?
Now this I'm confused about. Let's see it.
Maybe. She didn't treat everyone equally. She took better care of her former Skalitz neighbours than of the other patients, of course.
It's understandable, yes. Some people are dearer to her than others, but whether by doing so she sinned. Anything else, Henry?
I wish I didn't do that. We usually have 3 out of 2, out of which 2 best are selected, and then their average is taken and added in the report card, but this time it's only 2 compulsory tests we have to take instead of 3. Gotcha.
That's about all I can tell you.
Thank you, Mike. One more thing. Let me remind you that it's your Christian duty to report anything suspicious going on concerning the church and the true faith, if you're aware of anything of the sort in these parts. If you prove yourself a commendable servant of the church, I would also take that into account in judging Johanka's case.
All right, Monsignor. I'll bear that in mind.
Good luck to you.
Monsignor, I've heard of various irregularities in the province that might be of interest to you.
Very good, my son. A good Christian certainly shouldn't conceal such things. Please, speak.
Well, the parish priest in Ujits is rather, unorthodox. Not that he's a bad person, not at all. He takes good care of his flock, no doubt. It's just that he drinks quite a lot. In fact, he's even said mass while drunk. And, he keeps a concubine.
That distresses me. All the more so because what you describe isn't at all unique amongst the clergy. Thank you for telling me, Henry. Matters like this certainly must be addressed.
The former parish priest of Rovna, Father Simon, went missing one day. Everyone thought he'd fled from the province, but in fact he just went to the woods and became a hermit.
I see. Why did he do that?
Because he got some girl pregnant. The child died during birth, though, and the mother too. He took it to be retribution for his sin. So he fled far from people, because he didn't feel fit to be their pastor anymore.
That's very interesting indeed. Where is this Father Simon now?
I tracked him down in the woods and talked him into going back to Rovna. They needed a parish priest there, and Simon was convinced taking on the task would make amends for his sin.
Interesting. Father Simon's story is certainly remarkable. Whether his actions are appropriate for a cleric is another matter, of course. Thank you for telling me about this.
There were Valdensians hiding in Ujits.
Really? And how did you find out about it?
Sir Hanush sent me to help the vicar track them down and catch them.
So, Sir Hanush had an interest in finding them?
Yes, that's right.
I'm pleased to hear it. It's not always possible.
Let's not
to
talk
see
bad
eye to
about
eye with
Sir
secular
Hanush
lords
while
in
we're
such
here.
matters. And how did it end up with the members of the sect?
They fled. The vicar is still trying to track them down.
That's unfortunate. Let's hope the vicar succeeds promptly in his mission.
Some women in Ujits went to the herbalist for magic ointment.
This is a
Then they
good
went
one.
to the woods, smeared this ointment on themselves,
Excuse
and
me.
engaged in all sorts of incantations and spells.
What? Witchcraft? God have mercy.
What?
They must be brought to justice.
He should be coming by later.
Who is
It's
this
very early
herbalist
for
that
him
is-
over there.
Not to worry, Monsignor. Father Godwin put a stop to it.
Well, that's good news at least. Witchcraft will not be tolerated under any circumstances.
A demon's skull was found on the church building site.
Yes, I heard something about it. A disturbing report. Tell me what you know about it.
It was a deception, sir. Someone made it with evil intentions, to frighten people. I found the skull and brought it to the local knacker. He confirmed it was a human skull with animal horns stuck on.
You did the right thing, Henry, in uncovering the deception and in telling me about it.
There are interesting things.
In the monastery?
Oh, various things that people are talking about. There's a lot of talk about the construction of the new church and how much it must be costing. But actually, nothing that would interest.
As you wish.
That's all.
All right.
Why did you have your...
I talked to her for a long time about the things she was saying and about her convictions. I warned her that she had to stop preaching in public, and I told her if she had any further concerns, or, as she claims, visions, she should come to me. Johanka chose to ignore my warning and continued with her preaching. Obviously, I couldn't turn a blind eye to that kind of disobedience.
But what's so bad about what Johanka has been saying?
Look here. It's simply unacceptable that anyone at all should come along and stand up in the market square and preach about God's will or how he or she interprets it. God gave us his teachings, which we must honor, and he showed us how to fulfill them. It is only those teachings that lead us on the path to salvation and God's grace. But understanding those teachings is no simple matter. It demands learning, time, and effort. That is one of the tasks of Holy Mother Church. What Johanka has been saying is dangerously close to heresy. She must be brought to see the error of her ways, and her disruptive actions must cease.
This guy seems a little bit, don't think, don't talk. Let the church do it.
I'm a good Christian.
Good. I'm glad I got through to you.
But Johanka was visited by the Virgin Mary, so what she says can't be wrong.
We only have her word for that, and even if her visions were real, she was at fault for interpreting them as she saw fit and preaching to the people.
But how? If the Virgin Mary told her?
As it says in Galatians, but though we, or an angel from heaven, preach any other gospel unto you than that which we have preached unto you, let him be accursed.
I think I understand.
Good.
Monsignor, Johanka is just a simple village girl from Scalise. Are all these legal proceedings really necessary?
They are. The mission of the Inquisition is quite unequivocal. And however trivial, this matter has a broader significance.
What broader significance?
No offense, but these things can't easily be explained to an uneducated boy like you. Still, I'm pleased that you take an interest. Unfortunately, I don't have time for this now. If you really want to know more, ask my assistant. After all, it is also our duty to guide others through the labyrinth of this world. Goodbye.
Okay, let's start with Sebastian von Berg.
Yeah.
I hate the guy, but I believe he's going to be helpful. Because he loves him some Johanka. Loves might be strong.
What?
Come on, move. Von Berg?
I found this document. Careful.
Don't tell me those fools got themselves. Oh, to hell with it. And did you come
Doesn't care
across
very
any
much.
humans?
Yes. They're finished.
There now. It's not such a fuck-up after all. Here's some money for you. It was supposed to be for those idiots, but it seems they asked for 100 groschen more than they deserved.
These men are dead now, asshole.
I have some, well,
Let's have them. Those scoundrels.
I need something from you, sir. I suppose you heard that Johanka was locked up by the Inquisitor and is facing charges of heresy.
I did, and it's most disturbing news.
What you might not know is that he's agreed that I can defend her at the trial.
You? Do you even know what to say?
I'll think of something.
I'm preparing for it. I'll think up something, don't worry. But I need you to testify at the court. In Johanka's defense, of course.
Naturally. You don't think I could just sit here and do nothing?
I do think that
Besides,
actually.
the bishop has already insisted that I appear before the court.
Oh. Alright.
One moment. I apologize if I was a little hasty. This whole affair has left me anxious. I appreciate that you want to defend her. However, I don't think it would have any effect. No offense, but I don't think you'll be able to achieve anything in court. I'm afraid the Inquisitor will judge as he sees fit, whatever anyone says. But I have an idea how you could help.
Oh? How's that?
Flee. With Johanka, of course.
No, I don't think that's a good idea. I'm sure Johanka will be acquitted by the court and everything will be alright. Running would just confirm the Inquisitor's suspicion.
That's true.
And she'd always be looking over her shoulder.
I don't agree. As I said, I don't believe you can affect the outcome of the court. If Johanka flees, yes, she'll have to lie low for a while, but in time it will all blow over. You can take her anywhere, as long as it's far enough from here. A girl like that will always find her feet. She can easily hide out somewhere where she's not known. Maybe there could even be a place for her on my estate.
Oh,
Think about it.
there it
You
is.
decide. If Johanka comes to any harm, you'll have me to answer to. I'm very fond of her, and her of me, and I don't want anything to happen to her, understand? But if everything ends well, I'll show you my gratitude, I assure you.
Fucking
I'll
weasel.
be with you.
I was gonna say, uncharacteristically good take from him, but then right at the end he had to lose it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I believe next we got Pavel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoops. Passed him.
Yeah.
What's up, my guy?
Goodman Pavel, you're still here. That's a relief. I was afraid I'd miss you.
Yes, still here, but not for long. I had some business to deal with, but now that's out of the way and I'm getting ready to leave. What was it you wanted?
You might have heard that Johanka was arrested by the Inquisitor and is facing trial.
Indeed, word has reached me. Poor girl.
I'd like to ask you to speak to the court in Johanka's defense.
Of course, Henry. You have my word. And the word of a burgher of Colleen ought to mean something.
Hell yeah.
To speak in defense of someone accused of heresy is no small matter. What do you want me to say?
The same thing you told me. That it was a sacred sign that you happened to be nearby when Johanka was speaking, and so on.
True. I'll tell the bishop that. You can rest assured.
Thank you very much.
My guy.
Please wait here a few more days for the court to convene, then I'll send for you.
All right. For Johanka's sake, I'll wait.
One of the all-time champs. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah.
Okay, and we got Guta.
Yeah.
Oh, Fabian's the preacher. Right.
Yeah.
He's ops no matter what. Gutta.
God grant you health. How may I help you?
I need your help with something. I'm sure you've heard. Johanka was locked up by the Inquisitor.
Who hasn't? The whole of Sasso is talking about it. And the Inquisitor was asking around about her.
I'd like to ask you to appear before the court and say something in Johanka's defense.
I can't say I'm keen on going there. But Johanka helped me. And you did too. I think it's only right that someone should say something good about her.
Ah, thanks, Gutta. I appreciate
Hell yeah.
it. I'll send for you when it's time.
God be with you.
Fabian. What up, you fucking weasel?
That donate... Father, the Inquisitor has had Johanka thrown in jail.
I know, son.
He's planning a hearing.
Rightly so. It's about time this whole matter was dealt with.
What do you make of it all?
What do you think about it, then?
As I say, it's a good thing that the matter is being investigated. The things Johanka has been preaching are, to say the least, disturbing. Who knows what these dreams are that she speaks of? And her words are only putting ideas in people's heads and leading them astray. Now, instead of going to church, as they should, they go to her in the false belief that they will find solace. It's creating a chasm between the people and the church and leading them away from the true teaching left to us by Christ. They're misguided and swamped in heretical ideas.
But Johanka is only saying what the Virgin Mary has told her. What can be wrong with that?
And how do you know the Virgin is really talking to her?
Well, I believe she's telling the truth.
A fair point, but
you can't be sure, can you?
not worth burning someone over.
The girl from the stable knows God's teaching better than the church?
Ugh.
Better than the generations of church fathers and learned scholars since the time of Christ, who have studied the sacred scriptures and their correct interpretation? With all the evil that's already going on in this province, the last thing people need is a false prophet.
I'm quite sure Johanka wasn't acting with any evil intentions. I'll defend her.
Suit yourself. But mind you don't get ensnared in her fallacies, and leave it to the bishop to judge the matter.
Of course.
Take care.
Hey!
What? I think... Oh, we got Nicodemus to do as well.
Master Bailiff, Inquisitor Yaroslav is going to try Johanka.
I know. He was here asking questions, too.
Oh? What did he want to know?
Various things, like how things are here, whether people are honest, whether we observe the fest days, and so forth. And then he asked about Johanka, about what she preaches, whether people come to listen to her and that. He's been talking to a lot of other people in Sasau, too. I even heard that Katra, the swordsmith's wife, invited him to dine with them.
That's interesting. Thanks for telling me.
Which should you go with? No idea. I mean, I think if you have the money, RX 7,800 should last longer, I guess. But if money's an issue, then 6,800
Was he just asking
might as well go for that.
Or does he want you to testify before the court?
Yes, he did ask me to testify, and I'm none too happy about it.
I'm no expert on computer parts, though.
And what are you going to say about her?
It depends what I'm asked, but there's not much I can say. I don't know Johanka very well. She seems virtuous and self-sacrificing to me. She's never done anything wrong, and no one here ever had a cross word to say about her. Until recently. Maybe some gossip about her and Sir Sebastian. But I've heard similar talk about half the women folk here.
Johanka has helped a lot of people here, selflessly. Her heart is in the right place.
Very true.
True. But then there's that preaching of hers. Folk have been falling out. They're split according to whether they believe Johanka or not. I don't know quite what to think of it myself. But I don't want to jump to conclusions. I'll wait and see what the learned bishop has to say.
Fence sitting, but also a reasonable take, especially at this current time.
Take care.
All right, we got Katra now, and then Nicodemus, and we're ready to get this trial underway.
I'm here about Johanka.
You're that fella of hers, are you? What do you want?
No. I'm just a friend of hers.
Kind of feel bad for making her pay so much.
Fella.
550 and 500 for the
God knows how
GPU.
many she has.
I heard you invited Bishop Yaroslav to come and dine with you.
It's nice of you,
Yes,
but
so
if he's
what?
happy to do it, he's happy to do it.
Bishop Yaroslav is an
You could do
esteemed
something nice for
visitor
him in
to
return.
Sassa, and it's only fitting he should be suitably hosted by devout
Take him to
burghers.
dinner, do extra chores, something like that.
And what did you talk about?
What we discussed with the Monsignor is none of your business.
What have you got against Johanka?
Nothing. The question is, what has she got against us? Tell me that.
What?
She turns up here and tries to tell us how to live our lives. Says the Virgin Mary whispers to her in the night. Yeah, I'm sure. To a simple village wench. I'd like to know who's really putting those
Jealous?
ideas in her head. She's just getting people all worked up. Men, especially. Coming around here with her nonsense. Sassau is a decent, orderly place, I'll have you know. We don't want any trouble here. All this talk about hellfire and the end of the world. God have mercy. No one is interested in what she has to say. All they want is some spectacle.
This lady
She ought to
sucks.
have thought twice before she started. Not that she wasn't warned.
What do you mean, warned?
As I said, she was told.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me everything you know. I represent the royal hetman, so don't try and keep anything from me.
If you must know, some of the fellas want to have it out with her and tell her to stop. No one wants her speeches here.
You don't want her speeches here.
No. The devil possessed her to bring harm to us.
So it was you who sent those men?
All I wanted was to
A very
protect
aggressive
the
point.
Sassau folk against her poisonous tongue.
Folk.
And I'll do just that. The Monsignor asked me to testify in court. And I'll tell everything I know there.
And I'll do likewise. Farewell.
Go. God be with you.
It was dummy expensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess I don't want to get too much into specifics, but,
Yeah.
well, fuck it. It was like $4,000.
Yeah.
probably would have been like half the price if I had built it myself, but I've never built a PC before. Didn't want to mess it up. You know what I mean? Oh, Adela, I almost forgot about you.
The Inquisitor is going to try Johanka in court.
Oh, Lord. I hope she's acquitted. I was absolutely devastated when they took her away.
I need people to speak in her defense, and I'd like to ask you to do it.
I don't want to go there. Really. I'm afraid of that Inquisitor. But you helped me, and so did Johanka. It's only right that I should try and help her. But what am I supposed to say there? I'm just a simple village girl. I don't know anything about these things.
That doesn't matter. You just be yourself. It should be enough to talk
It's
about
because
all
I already
the
spent on the
Johanka does
computer that I
and how she
don't
helped
buy
others.
a
I'll
monitor.
send for you if you're needed.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
I have to do it in pieces or not at all. So I thought I would start with the most important thing.
Brother Nicodemus,
You've heard something?
the Inquisitor has decided that Johanka will be tried, but he's agreed that I can defend her.
That's really quite unusual. It must mean he hasn't come to a clear conclusion yet.
Yes.
True.
I'll get her out of it.
I'm afraid it may not be that easy. The thing is, I expect Johanka will say the same things before the court that she's been preaching.
What are you saying?
Well, I've been thinking about what she's been saying, and it seems to me her preaching has a certain progression. Are you acquainted with the notion of the three orders
Well,
of man?
Now I know.
Not really, no.
It's like this. It's said that everyone has their God-given place and purpose on earth. Laboratores, oratores, and bellatores. Those who work, those who pray, and those who fight. The common folk are born to work, to reap the fruits of the earth and to obey the laws of God and man. It is the purpose of the nobles to protect the people and the church against all dangers and to maintain peace and justice on earth. And the church in turn has the task of caring for the spiritual welfare of all, ensuring the salvation of their souls and bringing solace to the people in times of hardship, so that they can endure their earthly trials and enter the kingdom of heaven.
But what's all that got to do with Johanka?
Well, I noticed in her first sermon she primarily addressed the concerns of the common folk,
Hmm.
and in the second, she criticized the nobility.
Ah. So you think she might start talking about the church?
Yes, I'm afraid she might. I dread to think how that might end up. Henry, you must warn her against that. She must show humility before the Inquisitor, and the wisest course would be to admit to being wrong. She's rather stubborn, but perhaps she'll listen to you.
But the Inquisitor said no one's allowed to see her.
No one except the Inquisitor's own men. You'll just have to think something up.
What's
I'm afraid
processor?
Johanka's
GPU,
fate may be in
CPU?
your
What is that?
hands now. I'm relying on you.
Farewell.
Witnesses can be summoned for Johanka. So I wanted to ask you if you give a testimony. Maybe some learned speech in her defense?
I'd be glad to do it. Johanka deserves my help. Such testimonies could carry a lot of weight. You should try and get as many as you can.
Is that the GeoForce RTX 4080 Super? Is that CPU? Or is that GPU? I also have the AMD Ryzen. Oh, no, AMD Ryzen 7000 series processor 9. 3D V cache.
Farewell.
If that has any meaning for you. This is why I went for the pre-build. No idea what any of that means. What? Sorry, G-Force. I thought it was G-O-G-E-O. Easy mistake to make.
Good luck then.
God be with you.
The bishop told me this business with Johanka has a wider context, and that you tell me about it.
Oh, very well. If the bishop says so. Look, it's like this. The world as a whole is not in a good state. For decades, people have been perishing from a terrible sickness, the Black Death. There's an anti-pope in Avignon in France.
Ah, see, I like that much better than your last one. Just taking a shit on me again. Thank you for explaining.
Instead of caring for peace on earth, are warring one against another. The authority of many monarchs, and even the emperor, is unfortunately too weak to put things to rights. Many scholars have even started to question established truths, and various contentious teachings have appeared, such as those of the Englishman, Wycliffe.
The Black Death?
The plague, my child. A dreadful disease that claimed countless lives. By the grace of God, these parts were not much afflicted, but it took a terrible toll in the surrounding countries. First, the Italian ports were stricken, Venice and Genoa, and then nearly the whole of Christendom. Some regard it as God's punishment for our sins, or even a sign of the approaching parousia.
Paro what?
The parousia, the second coming of Christ. The day when he returns to this world will mark
I didn't know
the
there was a
end
specific
of the
term for that.
ages. The dead will rise, and all people will face final judgment for their sins.
Oh. Do you think that's going to happen?
Most assuredly. But God alone knows when that will be.
Oh. I hope it won't be too soon. The Black Death?
The plague, my child. A dreadful disease that claimed countless lives. By the grace of God, these parts were not much afflicted, but it took a terrible toll in the surrounding countries. First, the Italian ports were stricken, Venice and Genoa, and then nearly the whole of Christendom. Some regard it as God's punishment for our sins, or even a sign of the approaching parousia.
Liquid cooler. P360, Poseidon, ARGB, liquid cooler.
That's awful. I don't want to hear any more about it. The anti-pope?
Anti-pope is so funny.
Unfortunately, that's a very serious and unpleasant topic. In short, alongside the legitimate Pope, the Bishop of Rome, and successor to St. Peter, another was elected and is usurping the highest glory of being Christ's representative here on earth. This is a most lamentable schism for the whole church, and the Avignon usurper must be compelled to give up his unlawfully acquired office, so the church and the whole of Christendom may again be unified.
So there are two popes?
Not
Pope
quite.
fight.
There is only one, but there are those who refuse to recognize him. The election wasn't correct and valid, and I apologize. It wasn't wise to speak to you of this. It will only confuse you all the more. Better forget it. We won't talk about it anymore.
You mentioned the emperor.
Now, who is the
God
current emperor?
wants unity, a universal order of the world. The Pope, Christ's deputy, and the emperor, the supreme earthly ruler, crowned by the Pope himself, were instituted in order to preside over that unity. Unfortunately, the gleam of the imperial crown has become somewhat dulled, and his authority is no longer as absolute as it once was.
Is Europe
What's
still
worse,
under
his
Roman
election
rule?
has become a political game involving many princes, and for a long time, the emperor himself has paid less attention to the affairs of the Christian world and more to his own concerns.
I see.
Good to know.
And what about these scholars?
That's complicated. Some reject the authority of the Pope or the Church, Others dispute over the legitimacy of government or the nature of the world. Others rebel against teachings. All of them seek all sorts of arguments and explanations to support their claims and argue with others. All this contributes to uncertainty. One doubt leads to another, and soon heretical ideas take hold.
Ah.
But don't concern yourself. These are weighty matters for others who are learned in such things.
Of course. Peace on earth.
Once I finish with this, I'll look up
Yes.
who
Sadly,
the
many
current
countries
Holy
are torn
Roman
apart by
Empire
strife
emperor is
and destroyed
at the
by
time
war.
of the game. Should be in the
land of
codex.
The English, the French, the Italians, and the Holy Roman Empire. Christians are raising their weapons against other Christians. Love for our neighbor has given way to the pursuit of mammon and high office. They plot against each other to gain advantage. You've seen it yourself, right here in Bohemia, and even in Sasau.
Yes. And in Skalitz.
Indeed, my son. Regrettably.
But what does all this mean? What has it got to do with Johanka?
As I say, the order of the world is shaken. Division is spreading, and confusion and iniquity thrive. It's the handiwork of Lucifer, who wants to lay waste to God's creation. Many have succumbed to his false truths and spread them to others. That's why we must be alert to his snares, especially in these times. Be wary of false prophets and stick to the path of the true faith and personal virtue.
Are you sure? I thought their title being King Sigismund and King Wenceslas made it so that they were just like the king of Bohemia itself and not all of Europe. I guess I was playing this whole time thinking that there was a higher level than Sigismund and Wenceslas.
I know someone like that. There's a charlatan who's been peddling wares around these parts. All sorts of amulets, relics and the likes that are supposed to cure all ills.
Yes, I've heard something about that. If you should know of any similar iniquities, the Monseigneur will be glad to listen to you.
And Johanka?
Just so. I fear she too may have been ensnared by Lucifer's deceptions, and the false belief that she's been visited by the Blessed Virgin. These machinations of the devil must be faced and stamped out before they take root and cause more evil. But we must not despair. Even those who have strayed from the right path may be redeemed. And that's why Johanka's case is important, although it may not be immediately apparent.
I understand.
The four kingdoms being France, Spain, England, and Bohemia? What about Russia?
Thanks. I won't bother you anymore.
May the Lord watch over you.
Let's see. Is that everything? Ah, Johanka herself. I wonder if in KCD2 they're going to have more of a Red Dead style system with the horse. Like if you leave it somewhere, you have to actually get close in order to whistle for it.
Yeah.
Bohemia and Hungary are one of the two kingdoms of the Holy Roman Empire. One was Italy and the other Prussia or Germany, I guess. Interesting. 1400s. That would be around the time the Persian Empire is still a thing, right?
God God watch over you. Good night.
And are you sure the Holy
Especially
Roman
in these
Empire
dark
and the Roman
times.
Empire were in different times?
Can I do something for you?
I thought they had conflicts with each
I'm
other.
interested in your services.
And what is it? But I'm God be with you. And what?
I'd like that.
As you wish.
Fine.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Come right up. It's a big. It's hard to resist. You'll not find better.
Hey, clear off. No one's allowed to talk to Yohanka. Bishop Yaroslav's orders.
Bishop Yaroslav.
I know. I was just testing you. And you passed. I'm with the bishop's entourage, and I'm here at his command. Let me in to talk to Yohanka.
In that case, you surely know that everyone who comes from the bishop has to show a document to prove it.
Good, good. Your diligence is commendable. I don't have the document on me at present, though. I left it at the monastery.
Sorry, sir. We'll have to go and get it. I can't let you in otherwise. I wouldn't want to anger them.
Burgundy, like modern-day France instead of Hungary. That was actually under the Kingdom of Italy, or was a region in itself.
Yes.
So Bohemia, Germany, Italy, Burgundy.
You're clearly the right man for the job.
Interesting.
Very well. I'll be back soon with that paper.
God be with you.
I wonder what was going on in Russia at the time.
I want to talk about Yohanka.
All right.
I'm sure the bishop wouldn't mind if you had to go and answer a call of nature. And if it were a nice long call, there'd be a few groschen in it for you.
Ooh.
Don't even try it. I'm warning you.
Let's come to some arrangement.
Come on now. Just between the two of us. Yohanka is my friend. She has no one else but me.
Yeah, but were they an independent kingdom, or were they a part of any larger empire?
I just want to say goodbye to her before she disappears forever. What would you do in my place?
Well, since you put it that way, but I'd be taking a big risk, disobeying the bishop's orders. You'd have my head for it.
Of course. I wouldn't expect you to put yourself at risk without a reward. Satisfied?
It'll take more.
Independent kingdom, not a kingdom, it was a principality. Like, self-governing?
All right.
For sure. Thanks a lot. I owe you.
Take care.
Yohanka, are you alright?
Yes, Henry. I'm fine.
Poor girl.
I'm glad to see you.
I spoke to the Inquisitor. He wants to put you on trial.
I know. It's all in God's hands now.
No, it's not. I mean, it is, of course. But the bishop has allowed me to defend you.
You want to defend me? Thank you. Henry, that's very kind of you. You needn't bother.
The
Our
price is the
Lady
head of the
won't let
principality. What do you
anything
mean?
Bad happen to me. I am her instrument, and I am completely in her hands. Everything that's happening is her sacred
Well, they
will.
would have had czars at the time, which are basically kings.
As I said,
Princes.
I will defend you.
If you insist. Maybe it's the will of the Virgin that you came to me. So be it then.
I went to Ujits, like you asked.
That's good, Henry. I hope you purged yourself of your sins.
I did the pilgrimage of penance, like you said. And in the church, I begged the Virgin Mary for forgiveness.
And she will bless you, Henry. You're a good man. Remember that. And don't stray into wrongdoing again.
I won't. I made a donation to the church, too. And the parish priest there, Father Godwin, he was asking about you.
Was he? What did you tell him?
Oh, just about everything that's going on and the things you were saying. He was quite moved by it, to tell the truth. He even gave me some writings.
You see? Maybe Our Lady is giving you a sign too.
What did Bishop Yaroslav ask you about?
All sorts of things. Like how the Virgin Mary visits me, what she shows me, and about preaching to the people. Actually, he was really quite pleasant. He asked me about Skalitz, whether I go to church, and a lot of other things. And in the end, he told me I mustn't speak in public again about the visitations.
Were they Catholic or Protestant?
I couldn't obey an order like that. The Blessed Virgin is testing me, and I have to do what she asks, no matter who or what stands in the way.
I'd say he wasn't too happy about that.
No. He came there with his men, dispersed the people, and had me arrested and locked up here.
About that trial?
Yes, the trial.
I'll get some people who will testify for you in court. But Brother Nicodemus is worried you'll say things that will make the Inquisitor angry. Please don't do that. You have to talk to him respectfully, answer his questions with humility, and not say anything to annoy him. And don't say anything against the church or priests. Please.
I'll say only what the Blessed Virgin wants me to say.
Okay.
Fine, if that's how you want it. But if you annoy him, you'll make it worse for yourself and me too. I'm trying to help you here.
I know, but I can't let Our Lady down. After everything, I will fulfill the task she gave me. And then she'll heal Matthias. That's all that matters.
Sacra. This is going to be a right mess.
I know Luther was trying to reform the church in a big way, but I don't recall how specifically. It was a religion started by not Martin Luther King Jr., Martin Luther, right? MLK Jr. was a very different guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
Okay, I think everything is in order. Ah, Nicodemus. Little bit more. Then we get into the courtroom drama of it all. Nico!
I spoke to Johanka.
And did you manage to convince her?
Hell no.
Afraid not. She's stubborn. She says she answers only to the Blessed Virgin.
Oh dear, Henry. That's not good at all. What about her family? Doesn't she have a relative she might listen to?
Dead as hell.
None of them survived the raid on Skalitz.
She has no one at all left in the world? Poor child.
I won't get any sleep.
Take care now.
I just won't get any sleep.
Now, what does that mean? Have you done this before, Panther? Try to persuade Johanka to speak with humility. Maybe Matthias?
Johanka?
Ah.
Matthias? You're better.
Henry? Is it you?
Yes, it's me. Who else would it be?
I'm glad you're here, Henry. I feel a bit better now.
Hell yeah.
I'd even like to eat something. I must tell Johanka. She'll be glad.
Johanka's not here just now.
Not here.
Ah, okay.
Where is she?
how to begin.
So I played through a bit of this last night, but I decided to start over just because I was a total zombie. But I went in without doing this.
In jail, awaiting trial.
What? What happened?
The Virgin Mary is speaking to Johanka, and Johanka is spreading her word to the people. But there is this inquisitor who heard about it and had her arrested. He's putting her on trial for heresy.
Oh my God. How could such a thing happen? But if Our Lady is speaking to her, surely nothing can happen to her.
Well, I hope not. Trouble is, Johanka is very obstinate, and she's likely to say things in court that will just make it worse for her. Listen, Matthias, I need you to go with me and talk to her. Maybe together we can convince her to see sense.
I wish I could, but I'm still too weak to even get out of bed. I'm sorry, Henry. I just can't do it. You know what? Tell her I'm feeling better, and I agree with everything you tell her. Give her this
Aw,
dice.
the dice.
She'll understand. It'll almost be like I was there with you.
Suffers from multiple personality disorder, I guess. It's true. From a non-religious perspective, there have been many people who, throughout history, who have had religious visions and experiences that, if you are not a person of faith, could be multiple personality disorder, or it could be an extreme desire to have change in the world. There's a really interesting book on the matter that I am forgetting what it's called right now, but yeah, I don't know. It's a very interesting piece of history.
Nice.
Oh, it's a long story. Johanka knows all about it. Or you can ask Teresa, too.
All right, if you say so.
Henry, please, look out for her. And make sure nothing happens to her.
I'll do my best.
See you later.
I think that if your frame of reference for understanding the world is religious, that is kind of the filter that your understanding of the world passes through. So, if your understanding of the world is spiritual in nature, then great sudden understandings can only be understood as religious in nature. But I think it's just a surge of creativity being released in the mind. Whether or not that comes from some higher power, I don't know. But I think there's a connection between people that gets revealed in those moments. I'm no expert here, and I'm worried that, if I speak on this too much, I'm going to kind of come off like an ass. But Carl Jung has this idea of the collective unconscious, which my understanding is this is everyone's subtle understanding of the world, that surge of creativity released from mind. Interesting. Yeah, so collective unconscious, my limited understanding is the things that we all inherently understand about the world, but at the same time, right? So the idea of the mother is something that we all have an inherent understanding of. So, mothers, fathers, gods, death, all of these things, we have this knee-jerk instinctual reaction to. And from a completely secular point of view, I think we still have these reactions to it. And I think tapping into a deeper part of the mind can cause these religious revelations.
About that trial.
Yes, the trial.
I spoke to Matthias.
What? But he's lying in a fever, isn't he?
No, he's much better. He asked about you. He wanted to come here, but he's not strong enough yet.
Oh, that's wonderful. You see, Our Lady helped him. And now, I have to do my part.
But doesn't it mean that you've already done your part?
Well,
True.
What would be the point of it all if the Inquisitor were to have you imprisoned now? Or even worse?
It's a message. A final test. I mustn't fail now, after everything.
But you already passed the Virgin Mary's message on. Many people heard it, and many of them have amended their ways. You certainly haven't failed. Look, Matthias gave me
This is true.
and he asked me to tell you to look out for yourself.
Thank you, Henry. Go now. I need to rest.
Very possible. Although this is a video game, so God might be 100% real in the lore of this game. They seem to have left it open to interpretation. Like, there's not outright demons in the game. There are demonic hallucinations that are created by, you know, like hallucinogenic substances. They're like, God doesn't appear directly on screen, but everyone is so entrenched in faith that even if he's not real, he is a massive force on the world, just like real life. That collective unconscious bit that I was going about also covers God. Like, the concept of God, the idea of God, still affects most people's framework of understanding the world, whether you're atheist, agnostic, or religious. Undeniable that many people do many things based on this concept of God. Let's get it!
Excellent.
We're gonna save a
I have
woman.
also completed my investigation. We may commence then with the proceedings?
This guy looks like a rat.
Yes.
Good. I will send for everyone who is to bear witness and have Johanka brought before the court. We'll commence first thing tomorrow morning.
Yes, sir.
One more thing. These are solemn proceedings that demand a certain decorum. I won't tolerate any clanking armor or otherwise inappropriate attire. You will wear this robe.
The memes are strong with this one.
Monsignor.
Very well. Rest now, and we'll meet in the morning.
God be with you.
Very tense in here. Very solemn scene. Wait, that guy has clanking armor. Ah, there we go.
Let us begin.
Panther, your last message, it reminds me of the blacksmith in Whiterun. Every time you say, oh, I want to fix my armor, he goes, Gods be praised.
Bishop Yaroslav of Benishov, by the grace of God, Papal Inquisitor, have come here to Sassaw in response to reports of Marian visitations and the preaching activities of one Johanka, a commoner. And I have found, indeed, that by her arbitrary
This Inquisitor,
word, she's been
though, he strikes me as a guy who can't be bought.
encouraging their rebellion against their betters. Furthermore,
For all his issues, he does seem to legitimately believe in the things he's saying.
Mother Church, and to appoint herself as an intermediary of the wisdom and grace of Almighty God. This does not behove any lay person, and certainly not a woman. It is therefore necessary to remedy her transgressions,
and to investigate the extent and the basis of her misguidance. Or, as the case may be, heresy. Henry of Skalitz has elected to appear here in Johanka's defense, and his wish has been allowed.
Henry of Skalitz. Keep respect on the
Anyone who
name.
elects to speak here does so before God, and shall be bound by a most sacred oath, to speak only the truth. I will first hear the testimony of Father Fabian, who sent me word
Father
of this
Gabian.
matter, and who
Am I
should
right?
best know what deeds are done in his parish. Father Fabian, will you tell us what Johanka has been proclaiming?
Johanka claims that she has received visitations from Our Lady, the Holy Mother of God, who speaks to her in the night. It is an outrageous claim that I hold to be entirely untrue.
And did Johanka come forward to ask your advice regarding these alleged apparitions?
She did not. Instead, she took it upon herself to spread her supposed wisdom to the people.
And prior to this,
This dude's ready to light her on fire.
did you see her at your sermons, Father?
I did not, Monsignor. What's more, the parish priest of Skalitz is staying at my presbytery just now. Johanka knows him well enough, but she didn't come to see even him. I believe
that does look
Johanka
bad.
is deliberately avoiding the church. Instead, she meets her followers secretly in the woods and preaches to them. Either she made everything up, or the devil himself is whispering in her ear.
Yeah.
If I may, Monsignor, the Virgin Mary really does speak to Johanka.
Is that so? And on what do you found this claim?
It couldn't be the devil. Johanka lives at the monastery, doesn't she? Close to the cave of St. Procopius. St. Procopius, who overpowered the devil and cast him down, did he not? The evil one would hardly dare return to the dominion of the saints to whisper in Johanka's ear. Surely that's obvious.
It's true, Henry, that evil spirits, or even Lucifer himself, would have little power in the vicinity of the remains of St. Procopius.
But the fact that she lives at the monastery doesn't mean that she is not misguided. What's more, she is an interloper there herself, who would not even be tolerated if it weren't for Brother Nicodemus.
Yes, Father, I am aware of the impropriety of her presence in the monastery grounds. But in this I must concur with Henry.
Monsignor, would you please hear the testimony of the respected burgher Pavel of Kolin? He will testify that Johanka isn't making anything up.
Well, I'm very curious what this Pavel will tell us. Call Pavel of Kolin.
I like this a lot, but it's hard to have anything to say when there's so much dialogue.
To find a counselor of Kolin here, especially you, who makes no secret of your animosity towards Sasau Monastery.
True. Although I have only criticized the monastery in secular matters of property, which concerned a dispute with the town of Kolin, and therefore my duties as a counselor.
Pavel, please tell us about your recent experience.
I'm all ears, Goodman.
Monsignor, some years ago I hid some money in Sasau Woods. When I found myself here again recently and heard Johanka's words, I remembered that matter. Johanka made me aware of my inordinate love of wealth, and I resolved to donate the money in question for the common good of Sasau. For this, I needed an honest intermediary who would locate the money. In this, too, Johanka helped me by putting me in touch with Henry here. By the grace of God, he found the long-lost treasure and donated it for the good of Sasau. The whole matter I regard as the intervention of the Holy Spirit.
An interesting tale, Goodman Pavel.
Not only that,
Well,
it's also evidence of divine providence.
love Griff,
and
but that might
Johanka
explain
isn't
why there's
making anything
no
up.
one here
She
right
wasn't
now.
possessed by an evil spirit. On the contrary, Our Lady really did speak to her.
I must concur with that, Monsignor, because
I should
was
specify, I love watching his videos. Dude does not know I exist, guaranteed.
You too?
Yes. She appeared in a blue cloak and waved to me.
Oh, I forgot about this plot point. He's had visions as well.
I swear that what you say is true, Pavel.
I swear by Almighty God, Monsignor.
Big points for us.
Truly remarkable. Very well, Goodman. Thank you for your testimony. You may stand down.
He's starting to doubt.
Even if it were true, why would Our Lady choose a simple village girl like Johanka?
Monsignor, with your permission,
I love this bit.
I'd like to draw attention to the work of the great scholar Matthew of Yanov. He exalted women like Johanka. He said that God created what is weak in order to bring shame on what is strong. That's why God turns to women who love Christ and blesses them with such visions, so that they can point out and rectify the vanities of men. It can't be heresy if the learned masters of universities write such tracts.
What you say is
Really?
remarkable.
So you watch all his videos a ton, right?
Does speak to Johanka's benefit, but I wouldn't have expected that someone
Where do
of
you
your
see that?
station has even heard of the Master of Yanov. How did you come by his work?
Ah, I see.
Johanka pressed me to go on a pilgrimage of repentance.
Well, thanks
I
for
went to
being here, man. I appreciate
where
it.
There's a Marian church, and there, the parish priest gave me a copy of the text.
That's surprising indeed. Especially that you are at all capable of reading such a work and understanding it. You're quite a fountain of unexpected skills, Henry.
Thank you, Monsignor.
Let's proceed then. Is there anything else you want to add, Henry?
Brother Nicodemus.
Yes. Please call Brother Nicodemus. He has something to say about it. He's a man of learning and knows more about these things than I do.
Certainly. I also wish to hear his testimony. Call him.
I wonder if he's gonna bring in the wife, Katra.
Nicodemus, for some time you were insisting that the infirmary needed extra pairs
What
of
other
hands.
gaming YouTubers do you watch?
It was only at your request that Johanka, against all accepted custom, was allowed inside the monastery walls. I've already spoken to Abbot Peter about her, but please tell me how Johanka behaved.
Monsignor, I must stand behind Johanka.
My guy.
The girl is a treasure. Selfless, charitable, and good-hearted. She helped more people here than anyone else.
Love you, Nicodemus.
I've never seen her do anything that would contradict the behavior of a good Christian. She never discussed questions of faith with me. She was always focused only on her work, which she carried out impeccably.
And afterwards, when she began making claims of Marian apparitions?
Yes. Yes. That's quite an extraordinary thing. The things she preached couldn't have come from any of the brothers, or from books, because she can't read. Therefore, I believe the Blessed Virgin really spoke to her.
He says this at a tremendous risk to himself.
Or someone did prompt her. You're very keen to defend her, brother. It makes me wonder whether she didn't get her wisdom from you.
I already said
Looks
she
bad.
got none of it from me, and I would never lie before Almighty God. But it seems to me it's the inadequate education of the good parish priest here that's behind his flimsy litany.
Get him.
What?
For the throat, my
To
man.
be criticized by someone who's more a gardener than a scholar.
Father Fabian, let Nicodemus speak. And you,
Fabian's mad
Nicodemus,
because his PP is
stick
small.
to the point, if you please.
Certainly, Monsignor. Please allow this humble gardener to
Damn.
to right, because he evidently knows nothing of the fact that other women before Johanka had similar experiences.
Bars.
Blessed Hildegard of Bingen also had similar visions. And what about St. Bridget, or Elizabeth of Schurnau, or Catherine of Siena? Like them,
Ooh.
Johanka here only humbly spreads the message of Our Lady. She does not present herself as an intermediary of divine mercy. Please do not condemn Johanka, Bishop Yaroslav. In my judgment, her visions are genuine and her words sincere.
Thank you, Nicodemus. Your plea is very bold.
Hell yeah.
What you say about Hildegard and the others is true. You can rest assured, I will consider your words very carefully.
Sorry, that probably sounded rough on the mic.
Have you had trouble with heretics before, or had any suspicions of heresy here?
Not much, Monsignor. Now and then there have been traveling preachers and various charlatans here and there. Although, I did recently get reports that there were members of the Waldensian sect hiding in the province.
Yes, I know of that. Henry here was helping the vicar to track them down.
Big points for us.
Unfortunately, though, they managed to flee. Thank you, Father Fabian. That's all.
I'm glad.
What gaming YouTubers do you watch?
I thank you also, Brother Nicodemus. You too may stand down. Call Hoshek, bailiff of Sasau. Bailiff, has there been any suspicious activity here recently?
Well, there have been cumins on the rampage in the woods and on the roads, and all sorts of bands of footpads and brigands around the province. But otherwise, it's all been peaceful and quiet here, Monsignor.
How reassuring. And what of Johanka, bailiff? Has she been inciting the people here?
I couldn't tell you much about her. I hardly know her. She hasn't broken any laws, and folks speak well of her, for the most part.
Me, I like Griff. I've been watching a lot of German 985 compilations these days. He's more of a streamer, though. Meat Canyon is very good, but he's non-gaming.
Some are even convinced
Oni plays. They're great.
From what I heard, they bring her small gifts or ask for her advice or blessing.
Sacrilege! People coming for blessings and bringing
Wait,
her
I wasn't paying
gifts.
attention.
That has all the makings of a cult.
That sucks,
I
actually.
don't know, Monsignor. Begging your pardon, but that's overstating it a bit. But it's true. They
Damn,
met
this
outside
dude has some boomerang ears.
and it came to a bit of a skirmish. Nothing serious happened, though. Fellas punching each other in the mouth. If you'll excuse me, Monsieur, that happens all the time. Well, that's about all I can tell you, Monsignor.
Thank you, bailiff. I will be all. And you, Henry, you've been around Johanka more than anyone. Do people come to her for blessings?
Johanka doesn't bless anyone.
Well, they come to her, yes. But I swear she never blessed anyone. But when someone comes to her, she tries to help them, like a good Christian.
Henry, I'm sure you're aware that to lie here is a mortal sin and a crime.
Half sweet, but kind of a backhand.
But I'm not lying.
All right. Anything else?
Guta, Taylor's wife.
Yes, Monsignor. Johanka helped Guta, the tailor's wife. Please hear her testimony. You'll see for yourself that Johanka is a good Christian.
Very well. I promised I'd hear your witnesses. Call this Guta. Guta, you witnessed Johanka's first sermon. What did she speak of?
About how we should be virtuous and not sinful.
And then you went to see Johanka, didn't you?
I did, Monsignor. I wanted to ask her for help, and she did. I was praying for my husband for a long time and begging God to help him. And I believe my prayers were answered, and he sent Johanka to us.
And there were others who came to her seeking help?
Yes, Monsignor. There were.
And that shrine, and the gifts. People brought them to Johanka so she'd help them?
I couldn't tell you. But she helped me, without any of that.
Didn't you bring her any gifts?
Well, yes, but that was after. Just some old cloth for bandages and bed covers, so she could help others like she helped me.
That's really nice.
I pray for Johanka and thank the Blessed Virgin for sending her to us.
I see. Thank you. You may go.
I'd like you to listen to Adela. She amended her life and doesn't live in sin anymore, all because of Johanka. Johanka helped people selflessly, not for any benefit, and Adela can testify to that.
All right. Bring this Adela. Adela, until recently you were living in the nearby town of Ledechko, is that so?
Yes.
And how did you make a living there?
I served at the baths, laundering and repairing clothes, and preparing the baths.
Is that all?
No. Sometimes
Well, I'm
I
glad you
worked
did.
with the fellas and pleasured them for money. But I don't do it anymore. I swear. I changed my ways on account of Johanka and Henry here, and now I lead a decent life.
Again, very risky for her to give this testimony.
You gave up your profession?
Yes. Henry convinced me, and Johanka took me in.
Very well. Thank you. And since you left Ledechko, have you sinned with anyone?
No, monsieur, I haven't.
Oh, it could have been with me.
May God give you the will to maintain your newfound virtue, Adela.
Really glad I didn't take her up on that offer.
Please answer one more question. You're living with Johanka now, yes? Tell me what she says to the people who come to her.
Well, they come with all sorts of problems. Some want just advice. Some want her maybe to bless them or talk to Our Lady for them. They believe she's a holy woman.
So, Johanka accepts gifts from these people and then gives them her blessing?
No, it's not like that. Johanka doesn't bless anyone. And she doesn't want any gifts from anyone either. Folk just bring them. The things they bring, she gives them out to the sick and wounded. She doesn't keep anything, I swear.
You swear?
Yes.
Oh.
I swear to it all, Monseigneur. I'd never lie to you.
All right. You may go.
I thought maybe it was a sin to swear or something.
Question Katra, the swordsmith's wife.
I knew it.
Here.
There might be an opportunity to turn this back around on her. Because she used her wealth to influence things.
Katra, you are a respected townswoman who has a good overview of what goes on in Sasau.
Gossip, you mean?
Me earlier. Will you tell me now what you know of Johanka and her deeds?
Yes, I'll tell you everything, Monsignor. Johanka has been putting ideas into people's
Oh, that's Bianca's voice actress.
chaos. What right has she to preach to us? A simple girl like that. As if we were bad people here.
No, only you.
She herself is a sinner. And an adulterer. A loose woman she is, who goes with anyone. And even fornicated with the custodian, Sir Sebastian.
Forgive me, Monsignor, but Katra isn't telling the whole truth.
What do you mean, Henry?
She's the one who set a band of thugs on Johanka several times to cause trouble for her and threaten her. She wanted to drive Johanka out of town. That's not the deed of a good Christian, plotting intrigues like that.
Very
she
nice.
It all to me.
Is that true?
I only did what was necessary to stop her from bringing us to harm.
Lioness.
Monsignor, you can see yourself that Katra holds a grudge against Johanka.
Yes. I must agree with Henry. In view of your apparent antagonism towards Johanka, whatever the reasons for it, I cannot allow you to influence these proceedings.
Get
you should
wrecked,
report your
Katra.
concerns to Father Fabian instead of acting willfully as you did.
But she's bringing us nothing but trouble.
I will be the judge of her transgressions, not you. Nevertheless, I have also heard rumors of Johanka's immorality that cannot be ignored. Bring here the Sasau custodian, Sir Sebastian von Berg.
Oh, interesting. I didn't think it would, I knew he was going to be involved, but I didn't know that them sleeping together would be a part of this.
My apologies for raising the matter, but doubts have been cast on your virtue.
How is this going to go?
That you have shared your bed with Johanka. Is it true?
Not by me.
Monsignor, with respect, this is surely some mistake. Johanka is not a bad girl, and by no means a heretic.
Noted. Now please answer my question.
Oh.
Did you share your bed with Johanka or not?
Decent attempt at deflection.
Yes, but she's not...
Silence! So, Johanka not only incites rebellion against the nobles, but also...
Oh my God.
...sin and immorality.
That's not true. Johanka never seduced anyone. It's the other way round. He wouldn't leave her alone from the moment she came to Sasau. He simply took advantage of her misfortune and his
Very true.
to get her into bed.
How dare you! Silence! Henry?
Johanka regrets it. What was she to do when she was constantly pursued by a nobleman who
Very
had great
true.
influence in the area?
What I did out of love for her.
What about your wife?
Johanka is no heretic, only a confused, unhappy young girl. There's no call for jumping to the conclusion of heresy. Monsignor, you must be able to see that.
I advise caution, sir. Would you cast doubt on the authority of the Church in this trial?
I will no longer tolerate this humiliation. Get out of my way.
I'm not sure if that helped or hurt us. And one more thing.
You proved yourself an exemplary and faithful
Jesus
servant of the
Christ.
Church when you drew my attention to the many iniquities that have been happening hereabouts.
Hell yeah.
You've been very keen to appear here in Johanka's defense. You've said a lot about her, but please, tell me why you've been helping her all this time.
She's my friend because of her deeds, I think.
Because I don't know anyone like her. She endured what would destroy most people and never gave up. She never wasted time feeling sorry for herself. Instead,
Hell yeah.
she helped others, even at the cost of her own suffering. And she helped to redeem me, too. It's a pity everyone isn't like her.
That's
It seems
great.
you speak sincerely, and you hold her in high regard. Your sincerity before God carries great weight. Thank you. That will be all, Henry.
Monsignor, please permit me to say one more thing. I heard some
Risky.
wise words at a sermon in Skalitz, and I think I should share them here. It's our Christian duty to fight against sin. But we must love the sinner. So I beg you, Monsignor, be lenient to Johanka.
You're right, Henry. Those are wise words. Nothing
Damn.
remains but to question Johanka herself. Johanka of Skalitz, you've heard the accusations brought against you, and we have also heard several testimonies. I already questioned you earlier, and it has also come to my attention that Henry here bribed a guard to allow him to see you in your cell, which I expressly forbade. Johanka, do you wish to revise the answers you gave earlier, or do you stand by what you said?
I stand by everything I told you.
So be it. I expressly forbade you to continue preaching, and you promised not to do so.
Not ideal.
You defied my instruction and broke your promise. Why?
Forgive me, Monsignor. But I could do nothing else. Our Lady asked me to do it, and I couldn't refuse her.
At least she's consistent.
She did visit me. But now I admit that I might have been wrong about some things. I don't understand these learned matters, and I was too hasty in speaking to the people.
I don't know about that.
That I didn't go first to Father Fabian and tell him about everything. I want to apologize here, before the Blessed Virgin, if I misunderstood something and said untruths or brought shame on the Church. I didn't intend to do anything like that. I ask Our Lady's forgiveness, and I will accept any punishment that you impose on me.
I'm pleased that you've seen the error of your ways.
We saved her
Confess
life,
to your
but
mistakes.
we might have also taken her truth.
You may leave. Johanka will now hear my verdict.
You may leave. Oh, he was talking to us. I thought he told her to leave and then was like, no, wait.
Johanka, are you aware you're facing very grave accusations?
Yes, Monsignor. I am.
You stand accused of preaching from ignorance and leading the people away from the protective embrace of Holy Mother Church. If you do not recant, you will suffer grave consequences.
Pride and ignorance clouded her reason.
No.
It would distress me greatly to have to pronounce a verdict of of condemnation. Speak then. Do you recant your sermons and swear never again to preach to the people? And are you prepared to
No!
As God is my witness, I did all this with good intentions. And I sincerely repent
Okay.
of my
Oh.
sins of conceit. I confess that I was led by my pride to believe the Virgin Mary chose me to put the world to rights. And I set myself above the learned prelates of the Church and the divine right of nobility.
Ugh. Hate that woman.
I repent my sins of pride and ask forgiveness. I will do as you command, Father.
Johanka has confessed her guilt, and from this day forward shall be a good and humble Christian again. She shall no longer indulge in philosophizing, and shall, in her penitent's robe, go every day to pray at the Church of St. Martin. Therefore,
That's quite harsh still.
I ask you to welcome Johanka back into your midst and hold no grudge against her.
I wonder if there's a version of this where she maintains the truth of what she was saying and still doesn't die.
If the Virgin Mary should happen to visit you again, tell Father Fabian and he will send for me. All right?
Yes, Monsignor.
Very good.
Matthias.
Johanka was cleared of all charges of heresy, and the Inquisitor, his job done and his verdict pronounced, left Dessau for good. Matthias recovered from his illness, and he and Johanka finally met again. It was a happy sight to see them both alive and well after their trials. Who knows what awaits them now? Or all of us, for that matter.
Panther, you still with us? Seems like a happy ending, but I wonder if it was the happiest ending.
God be with you, Henry.
Johanka?
Henry, I'm still muddled from all that happened, but I want to thank you for standing by me. You've done more for me than anyone else I know.
You don't have to thank me. I only did what I considered right.
I'm still grateful, though. I'm in your debt. Take care.
I'm not sure how realistic it would have been for her to be a great reformer of the church, but
Henry!
I would have also have liked to have seen that ending more than anything else.
How's it going here?
Good. Actually, better than before. Matthias is here with me. I go to St. Martin's Church often, and Father Fabian is strict with me, but he explains many things to me about God and faith, and he tests me to see if I understand correctly. Then he always leaves me alone to pray and do penance.
And what about the Virgin Mary? Does she still visit you?
No, not anymore. Not since the trial. Whatever anyone says, She did appear to me before, just between the two of us. I think I did what she wanted of me anyway. Perhaps I was too hasty and committed the sin of pride and got confused about some things. But even so, after all, Matthias recovered, and that must mean something.
I also think you spoke well, and you were right about some things, and I believe Our Lady did appear to you.
Thank you.
I don't
Let's
actually
talk no more
agree.
about it. Only Our Lady
Unless
herself
it cost
knows
her
what
her
intentions
life.
were,
I think she should have
and
taken it
that's how should
further.
be. In church, I always prayed to her for forgiveness.
But I think self-preservation overall.
And how is Matthias doing now?
Good, I think. He's getting his strength back. How we're doing isn't for your ears, Henry.
Oh!
There's one thing I'm curious about. What did the Inquisitor say after we left?
He spoke about God and the Blessed Virgin, but I'm not supposed to tell anyone. I probably shouldn't say anything. But I think, in the end, even the bishop believed that Our Lady really did appear to me.
What, the Inquisitor?
See, but he could have been an ally in this.
I never said a word, all right?
Yeah, sure. I understand.
Now, I need to rest a while.
What will you do now?
I have to stay in Sasau for some time, on account of Father Fabian. But the abbot wants me to leave the monastery as soon as possible. And then, I wish I knew. I'll have to talk to Matthias about it, but I don't want to trouble him with it now, after he came so close to dying.
Maybe I can get them to go to Pripyshchevitz. Ooh! Oh, I want to give him a new home. That would be sick. Where'd he go? Thomas, wounded man, Thomas, wounded man.
I heard you and Pavel of Colleen gave a donation to Sasau. It's a pity you didn't think of us. Anyway, what can I do for you?
Yonkers trial.
Nicodemus, I'd like to thank you for the wonderful testimony you gave.
You're the one who deserves thanks, Henry. I feared the worst. Quiet. And for all my prayers,
This fucking guy.
I never even dared hope for
Quiet.
such an outcome. I could hardly believe it at first. I was very fearful for Johanka.
I want him to be in the background of every conversation I have for the rest of the game.
And you did an excellent job, Henry. It's largely due to you that everything turned out as it did. Thanks for defending her, Henry. There's few people who could have done it so well. Recently, I found an interesting volume in the monastery library and made a copy from it in secret. It's just a few lines, but maybe you'll find it useful.
Thanks.
I'm curious. Oh, chamomile brew. Were her visions real?
The Virgin Mary's visitations were real.
Yes, I think they were. Even if she didn't interpret the message quite correctly, we were certainly witness to something extraordinary.
Okay, well.
What now? What will you do next?
Now that you mention it,
Out with it then. What have you thought up now?
I can't help myself. It's force of habit. We tried to be good at Sasau.
And it didn't work.
Exactly. We broke our backs working in the mill.
And they drove you out.
And they drove us out. The only worthwhile thing we did recently was give that wastrel a thrashing, take his ring, and sell it to Andrew.
I'm not sure I like where you're going with this.
And where's that? No one in the country gives a damn about the law. And if we knock some thief over the head in the woods, or ambush some wagon with supplies for Sigismund's soldiers, I won't lose any sleep over it.
Those swine deserve even worse. But that's what Sir Hanush is here for, isn't he? What can we do?
Wake up, for Christ's sake. It's war. They skewered your parents, didn't they? They fucking burned down our fucking village, didn't they?
Oof.
Don't you give a damn about that?
Of course I fucking do.
Fucking.
And now, there's a herd of swine ransacking Skalitz. Those fuckers are trampling over the ashes of Jeremiah, and Desmond, and Siegfried, and Tristan.
Let's chop those bastards to pieces, one after the other.
Getting Henry all
I
worked
can't
up.
let it go, Hal. Even if I have to do it on my own, I'll put the fear of God into those bastards.
We'll strike fear into the fuckers.
I knew we could rely on you, Hal. I knew it.
So, what's the plan?
Well, I thought Andrew the innkeeper here could help us, but he's nervous. Best ask Fritz. He sorted out selling the ring, and he knows Andrew better.
All right, I'll do that.
Sup?
God be with you.
If I wanted to rob...
I'm not interested. Take care now.
Subtle as a brick. Alright. Masquerade. Fritz.
Hey, twat face.
Jesus Christ.
I hear you've got a plan to fleece the local villains.
Be nice, wouldn't it? Otherwise we soon won't have a pot to piss in.
And the innkeeper here could lend a helping hand.
Exactly.
So what's the problem?
He reckons we're not up to it. You should try and talk him into it. You were always good at that. Oh, and tell him I sent you, so he doesn't send you packing.
Do you know how I might set about convincing Andrew?
Mention money.
That's all?
Aye. Our friend the innkeeper's as greedy as they come. See you later.
Fritz sent me. I'd like to talk about...
Ah, you'd like some wine from my cellar? I have it right here, in the back.
No, I wanted to ask you about robbery.
That's right. Show me the way.
Take care now.
His elbows are clipping through his jacket. I love that bug.
So, Fritz sent you, did he?
Aye. This was his idea.
Look, lad, I'm fond of Fritz. I knew his old man, but Matthew, he's insane. Robbing people.
Only those that deserve it.
And you think his lordship won't mind? Have you any idea the kind of shit you can get into? I don't believe you're up to it.
Why don't you believe us?
There's coin in it.
There's plenty of coin in it, and almost no risk for you.
So, there'd be a share in it for me, eh?
A handsome one.
We'll see if you're up to it. You'll need a disguise.
What disguise?
Use your head. You can never be sure no one will see you.
Yeah, that's true. We'll have to put on some other clothes, or...
Dress up as humans.
What?
It's obvious, isn't it? Everyone knows they're looting.
This is a really cool idea.
Humans, no one will investigate.
That's true. But I'll have to get some human clothes.
But who are we robbing?
And 3 sets of them. What? On account of the helmets. No one will recognize you with them on.
And where the hell am I supposed to get it?
There's gangs of humans around Skeletons. I've got a good idea where to find them from. Passers-by.
I'm supposed to attack a human camp.
A minute ago, you were full of yourself. And now, all of a sudden, you've lost your nerve.
But the whole fucking camp.
Scouts are deserters. Most likely the ones who are trying to skive off or take easy pickings. And even
Kinda like
humans
us.
have to sleep.
Alright, let's see what I got. I might have it in storage already. Did I ever get the bedroom here? Sure didn't. Come on, Prince Andrew.
Can I sleep?
I suppose. For how long?
How about...
Sure.
What about this?
You're...
Wouldn't you like a chase?
Are you mad? I got the best in the province, and no one to tell me what to do. Why on earth would I change that?
Isn't there any way you could be persuaded?
Fair enough.
Not a chance. Find someone else. May the Lord watch over you.
Andrew's a cool character. Shady as they come. Also, he's an axe trainer, so you know he's kind of good. Might as well sleep till morning. Nah. Got a lot of daylight left. Do we have any quest items here? No. Okay. Oh no, I must have sold it all. Alright. This actually links up well with the Raiders quest. Wait, what happened to the dog? He always runs off randomly like that. Alright, Andrew.
God be with
I've got them. 3 full outfits.
What? Everything?
I'm basically the best.
Whole bloody lot.
Well then, let's see how you look in it. God be with you. Oh. Is that it? It's a bit...
Ordinary?
Are you serious? I got it straight from the fucking humans.
Oh, it's not exactly, terrifying, is it?
It's about as frightening as my aunt's speckled hen.
They just don't look much like a human to me.
No. It says I have 121 out of 500. 500 is the goal. 121 is where we're at.
Many times.
Take a closer look.
Those humans are monstrous. They're barbarians. Pagans.
Whereas you look like a little boy playing at soldiers.
And just who the hell is Miramir?
He's a regular in my tavern. He works as a caravan guard, and he knows what he's talking about. He's been eye to eye with a human, and he's lived to tell the tale. You can ask him yourself.
What are they now?
Oi, Henry. Take that ridiculous thing off before anyone sees you, eh?